director, I believe from the late 70s throughout the 80s. My understanding is passed just a couple days ago. And I think there'll be a more formal announcement in an upcoming RAiR newsletter, but just wanted to pass that along to the director of the year. The second piece of news here is that the residents at Howard Cook are going to organize another Open Studios event, similar to the one that was held in November between the Verindo and Howard Cook compounds. So there'll be more details to come about that, but this is a really great place to kind of get the word out so that everybody has that on their radar for February 21st. The specifics will be coming. Okay. So it's my pleasure to introduce Farnaz Shadravan's exhibition, Babylon 26, and to share a few thoughts about Farnaz's process in the time that I've had to get to know her. While speaking about materials, in Farnaz Shadravan's own words, she says, "When I see a piece of velvet or a piece of wood, all I can think of is how to get under its skin." While considering the common use of this phrase, to get under something's skin, I think of an irritation or a psychological trespassing. But as my Google research for the idiom reminds me, it can also refer to deeply affecting or obsessing someone, like an earworm song. I like this analogy because in some sense, sculptors are always working with the resistance posed by materials, trying to get under the skin of a chosen medium to push and provoke them into being something greater than the sum of its parts. Farnaz's version of getting under the skin of an enameled bathtub began when her home bathroom was being renovated, and she had a kind of divine pareidolic vision of an Albrecht Dürer etching superimposed on the surface of her bathtub, which at the time was being refinished in fresh white enamel. Pretty good, right? Wanted to make sure I got those details right. Following this vision, Farnaz began using the pneumatic tools of her dental career to intensely drill and etch images into the surfaces of found bathtubs. This process hybridized the graphic image with the manufactured object, upcycling and transforming the bathtub into an altar or stage. Thinking about sculpture as possessing a skin inevitably leads to imagining an object's interior world. When I first visited Farnaz in her studio, she was literally inside the bathtub, carving away with a dust mask and headlamp, making the sculpture from the inside out, as if drawing on the walls of a cave. These body-sized objects, which are linked to themes of cleansing, baptisms, meditation, and shrines, are manifestations of Farnaz's life experiences. First, while growing up, roaming her father's sign-making factory, followed by studying miniature painting, then later becoming a practicing dentist, and currently to making sculpture. Farnaz Shadravan was born and raised in Iran. Her introduction to art was her training in manuscript illumination and Persian miniature painting. After the 1979 revolution in her country, she moved to the United States. Farnaz has two completely different styles of art education in America, one in traditional realistic oil painting at the University of Utah, and the other a freestyle conceptual art practice that included different mediums and disciplines at the San Francisco Art Institute. As a result of this, her work oscillates between these two realms that has distinct elements from each practice. Being a part-time dentist, Farnaz often uses her dental handpiece to carve or engrave found objects. The meditative quality of the act of engraving is clearly transferred to her work. Having experienced a revolution and a war in her country, her work has become her way of telling her life stories and also the stories of people she's met along the way. In 2002, Farnaz and two of her friends established the first artist-run exhibition space in San Francisco, the San Francisco Underground Gallery. In 2011, she opened her second artist-run exhibition space, Shadravan Studios, in Oakland's Art Murmur district. Farnaz has art studios in Oakland and in Tehran, Currently, she is in the process of establishing a studio in Los Angeles. Please join me in welcoming Farnaz Shadravan.
به نام نامی ایران، به نام نامی انسان، به آیین وفاداران، به راه رسم بیداران، دلی دارم پر
So at the conclusion of the videos and Farnaz's demonstration, she will be taking questions. We'd like to have a dialogue with the audience.
A few years ago, I was talking with my nephew, Nima Nabavi. Some of you might know him. He was a resident here 3 years ago. And I was telling him that people are two kinds: messengers, merchants and messengers. Nima thought a little about it and said, yeah, they either want to sell you something or they want to tell you something. So I think, and I hope I am of the second kind. Whatever I make has a story behind it, all interesting and painful. But this story I will take to my grave. I met Saeed and Arash on a rainy day in one of the streets of Tehran. They were selling Hafiz poems. You close your eyes, make a wish, and pick a poem from the bunch they're holding in their hands. That poem will tell you your fortune. I can't remember what I picked that day, but those Afghan boys and the rest of their friends who work in the streets of Tehran all day became my fortune ever since. The story gets worse. These poem sellers don't know how to read. After many invasions their country has tolerated, their parents have been misplaced, and since they're considered illegal, they can't work, so they make their children work and constantly run away from the officials. When questioned, they simply respond, "This is what we did for our parents." In getting to know these kids, day by day, I found them to be kinder and smarter than any I had ever known. Touched by their friendship, I promised them to tell their story through an art piece. In a state of absolute insanity, I came back to America, sold my house so I could afford to work only 1 day a week and spend the rest of my time carving the tubs. 2 years have passed, the tubs are done, and the story is told. Now I need to ask you for a favor. Go to the tubs and kneel. Close your eyes. Now touch the water and imagine my poem sellers running through the streets of Tehran. So if anyone has questions, I'd be more than happy to answer. And the works that are in the gallery, you're more than welcome. Each has a story, and there are just so many, so you're more than welcome to approach me, and I'll tell you the story behind every single work. You have a question?
What led you to use your dental tools to draw this?
Okay. I was going to San Francisco Art Institute, and I was really good at drawing. But after I went to dental school for 4 years, and I came out, I could not draw. I was just completely, my hands were locked. And I was wondering why. And one day when I was going to my clinic, I saw a refrigerator door by the side of my clinic. I took it inside after all the patients were gone. I put it on patient's chair and I started to drill it. And then I found out the speed and the noise is what I need now. I could not draw with pencil anymore. So that's how I got started, and I was hooked. I still do a lot more than just carving, but I always have this as like my meditation. Yes?
You've left some of the pieces unfinished as you go to others. Is that a working process?
No, because what happened was I got a phone call one day when I was working, and my niece was living with me. So she said she has a surprise for me. And my ex from the background said that he has a surprise for me. I said, 2 kids have surprises for me. So I opened the door to my house when I go home, and I see that my niece is in the tub painting the bathtub with these rollers. And the rollers are all stuck to the bathtub, so it's like a crunchy bathtub. And we didn't even have a TV. And I hear from upstairs this amazing voice, like the voice of God, talking about the Battle of the Angels. And I literally saw the angel in the bathtub. So I found out later that my ex had bought a $4,000 sound system and TV. So I made him return his surprise, and I gave $1,000 to somebody to professionally paint the bathtub. But the image of the angel drawing the sword never left me, and I couldn't believe that. I'm a dentist. I can do this. I can carve the porcelain. But I didn't really know what that image was. And once I was passing Kobe bookstore in San Francisco, and I saw that exact image on a cover of a book. And I go inside, and I buy the book. And sure enough, it was woodcut of Albert Dürer, 17 woodcut that he did after John the Baptist's Book of Revelation dream. So at first, I thought I will do all 17. But I didn't even know how I should go about taking a small piece of paper into a three-dimensional object. I drew, but you have to carve porcelain with water, so it will all come down. And one time I went to this wrap store, like sign store, and I told them if they could install a sign inside a bathtub, and everybody started laughing. Except a man in the back said, I can try it. So we did it. These are like laminates, and they stick to the bathtub, and these are partially done. I wanted you to see how it's done. And it took 2 years. And there are there are 4 of them. If you go online, if you check YouTube, there's a 5 minutes video of me telling the story, the other part of the story of the bathtubs. Yes.
I'm curious because drawing is such a critical part of your practice, and it's something that hearing you tell a story about kind of losing or locking up, and then rediscovering that activity through the act of using the tool. Have you since returned to more conventional ways of drawing that parallel this process more recently, or is that something that still you haven't gone back to regular ways of drawing?
Unfortunately, I haven't. I'm scared. I will, though. Yes.
Benzin Ligiazadi, that's Persian for women like freedom. I wanted to say that first, I share my friends from Iran's messages on the internet, so because their voices are subdued and their information is subdued. But with your art, you said you like the sound. But do you ever feel like listening to music while you're doing it?
That's the music that you heard. That was what I was listening. Yeah. No, if you stop the music, I can't work. Yes.
This piece has sort of a soft focus look to it. Is that a nature of the medium, or just what you're doing with this particular piece?
A soft look to it? I don't.
Yeah, soft focus.
Soft focus.
Yeah. I hate to use the word blurry. That's not right, but you know what I mean. As I was looking at it, it has a very soft edge to the lines.
Well, actually, this is not soft yet. This is not fine engraving. I'll go back and soften it. But the thing that you're talking about, the ones that I did that was white bathtub, the contrast between the, underneath this bathtub, there's another layer. It's black. In this case, it's very gray. And the contrast between white and black was a lot harsher than this bone and gray. But I kind of like the softness of it. But after it's all done, you should come and see it with the lighting, and then tell me if it's still soft.
Okay.
Hi.
Yes, I can see. Yes.
I'm curious, the top edge, is that more of finished?
No,
Or
that's
is
the
there more
laminate.
to do up there?
No, that's the laminate. They're like a sticky paper.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, you carve through them.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, you can come up and touch it.
Okay. How long does it take you to complete one of these?
The part that I did was 2 months, and it will take probably 2 more months to finish. And one of my eyes doesn't see as well as it did before I started the bathtubs. Yeah, I actually went to the doctor while I was carving the 4 bathtubs, and he said, "You're going blind. Stop that." And I said, "I was born to do this. I won't stop."
So are the bathtubs the work that you're doing, the promise you made for the boys?
The initial 4, yes, it was the promise. But unfortunately, I haven't sold those because the price wasn't enough for me to do what I wanted to do for. We have a lot of street kids in Iran and a lot of Middle Eastern countries. So someone offered to buy 4 of them for 100,000. I didn't sell it. Maybe I should have. I don't know. I'm taking them to Dubai to see. Maybe. I have more luck there. Yes.
Maybe this is kind of obvious, but can you share what it's like for you to be here and watching on social media what's going on in your country now?
Terrible, terrible. I thought to myself, I do my talk and I take a plane and I go to Iran. And I think you were the one who said, well, what if you get killed or somebody? And I said, so be it. Why should my niece get killed? Yes.
I had the privilege when we had open house.
Yes, I can remember. Yes.
And I knew nothing of you then. And when I was curious about the usage of the tub, I asked, was there a way to seal it, to use it?
Mm-hmm.
And you touched me so when you said, yes, I like to use them for baptisms.
Exactly. I was going to do the four. I was going to baptize people in them. And one of our Norwegian relatives, who's not religious at all, she got offended and she said, you're a Muslim. You can't baptize people. And of course, John the Baptist was Jewish, and but I didn't want to offend anyone, so I just stopped that. But recently, I found a minister who agreed to baptize people, not so, just like maybe the head. So I will do that.
I know it was a joy that day to discuss things with you.
Thank you so much.
I have never forgotten that instance.
God bless you.
Touched my heart.
Sure.
So when Ryan introduced you, he said that you wanted to get under the skin of the tub. And when I work with people who speak languages in addition to English, the choice of phrase like that, that's not something probably that has a direct translation, or those kinds of idioms. Can you talk about what that means to you? I think that's really special, for you to use that phrase, get under the skin of the tub.
Yeah, for English not being my first language, I sometimes use it like that it's not correct, but it's the same way.
It's not that it's not correct. I think it's really beautiful because there's so much shorthand in there. And so I just, I'm curious, just the choice of phrase.
Yeah, I do that a lot. So, do you want me to explain?
If you want to.
No, actually, people think,
That was really beautiful.
yeah, people think that I think a lot, but I don't, usually. Yeah, they say, oh, you're smart, you must, I really don't. I mean, if somebody could think, would they get themselves into this situation? And that's a blessing, because I feel like art is not the realm of thoughts, it's just a realm of feelings. And so with words and with lines, I just go with my feelings.
I know that the Iranian Revolution in 1979, you were there,
Yes.
having lived through it, it really affected how you live and how it affected your art. What do you glean from that? Do you think affects what you create?
From that revolution? Actually, that revolution was caused by a president that I loved, Jimmy Carter. But he deported me. Do you remember the hostage crisis? Okay, during the hostage crisis, he wanted to do something to tell people that he's doing something. And anyone who had the slightest problem in their the residency situation, deported. He deported me. And the war started the night I went back to my country, and the doors closed. And for a while, I hated Carter for doing this to me. But then I found art when I went back, because I was sure I wanted to be a plastic surgeon. And but when he did that, I discovered art. And I always thank him for that. And I came back after 5.5 years, but I've gone through a lot of like miniature paintings, and also seeing the war. Actually, I think you can be good at making objects, but if you don't have a story, I think your work doesn't touch as much as when you have it. So the revolution and the war gave me stories to make art for 300 years.
Thank you.